All right, in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to do the fuel filter and water separator fuel filter on a 2012 F250 6.7 Power Stroke engine. Now, this is not really difficult to do. It's very simple. The only tool you're probably going to need is going to be a 32 millimeter socket, and that would be for the water separator, and then probably maybe a pick, if that. And then you will need some dielectric grease. If not, you can use the diesel as a lubricant too as well. But I would rather use the dielectric grease on that. If you haven't already, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you have any questions or tips or techniques to help for a better install on that. And then we're going to go ahead and start this video right after the intro. All right, so we're gonna be coming up under the driver's side, kind of mid door on that section. And you should be able to see right here, this will be our water separator assembly. Now, we're gonna go ahead and relieve the valve, but make sure you have a container. You can get like your gallon jug and then cut a hole in it if you didn't have one, and then we'll just go ahead and loosen this. So it's going to be lefty loosey. Now these guys might be on a little bit tight, but and just kind of pay attention to see how much water you have. Now we're just doing a regular service. We have about 130. Now you can replace these depending on what you require. I have like some customers, depending on how severe, they want to replace it every 15 to 20 to 30,000 miles, just depending. So just go on by that. So we're gonna go ahead and let all the diesel drain right out. Just trying to get all of it. Normally it should leak out this little petcock, but it's probably clogged. All right, there we go. So we'll let that drain out for the time being, and then we'll get right back to the video. All right, so this bad boy is still draining, and I'm almost filling up the actual the container. So that's a gallon container, so we almost got that filled up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stop the flow, and then we'll just go ahead and get the just start the process of draining this. All right. Now just pay attention, just to make sure that your O-ring is not leaking at the actual fitting. So we're not leaking, should everything be good. Now we're gonna go ahead and take off our sensor connector. Now this is like to see how much water is in the actual container. So if you ended up breaking that, that's what it is. It's a water sensor. All right. Now we're gonna go ahead and take off our housing, lefty loosey. So we're gonna go counterclockwise. Now we got it kind of a little bit snug loose, so we're gonna go ahead and spin it by hand. Now just be careful with your eyes. Now, I would recommend to get another container just in case. All right. So we still got fluid coming out. Now the filter is not even that dirty. So you're gonna lift up, so pull the filter right out. So we'll have some more fluid come out. Inspect it. It's not that dirty, so pretty ideal. Oh snaps. This is so messy. Alright, so we have a little O-ring that's right here. You can either get that with your finger or you can get it with the pick. I'm trying to put my nail in there, but it doesn't look like it. Alright, so we're going to get our pick and then we're just going to pop out the O-ring. And then we'll just pull it back. Replace that every time that you do this. Part number for this is going to be FD4615. Now that comes as a set. So it comes with the top filter, and then we have the regular O-ring and the actual filter itself. So we're gonna go ahead and put on the filter. All right, so let's go ahead and put on our O-ring. I'll just slide it up in there. And I'll show you the groove that it's supposed to be in. All right, so the last groove, so you're gonna have your threads right here, and then you're gonna have a groove mark. That's where it's gonna fit the O-ring. The O-ring is like really lubricated with the diesel, so I'm not gonna use the dielectric grease right now. So we're gonna go ahead and get our filter, and then you can clean up your area inside with the brake cleaner, or you can just slap it back on. So we need to make sure that this nipple goes inside and gets clipped in on the actual housing. So we're gonna go ahead and then make sure your make sure your gasket's right there too as well. So we're gonna go ahead and make sure it's all centered until you hear it click, and you should be able to wiggle. Like, you can hold the filter while the casing is still on, and then that's how you know it's correct. All right, so now we are going to be go ahead and installing. So go ahead and put up, and then make sure that the housing is completely centered, and it should spin pretty nice and freely in the beginning. Once it starts getting a little more firmer, then that's normal. After like the fourth spin or something, then it should be fine. Torque specs for this, I'll go ahead and get you. I just say tighten it till it stops. All right, so we got that snug down. Torque specs for this, let's see. I'm trying to find it right now. I guess there's a little identifier. Oh, here it is. So there's a little identifier right here. That's right there. So I'll point that out. So right here, there's going to be a little stopper. And then once you max out, it should stop against this piece right here on the housing itself. So once you stop, then that's how, I mean, you're pretty much done at that point. So next, we're gonna go ahead and grab our little harness, connect it, and then clean up your area. You can use brake cleaner to clean it, wipe it down. I'm just gonna use like a little wet rag from there and just clean up your whole area. So here is the actual container. It did fill up, so if you got some edges that are right here that are cut, it will leak. So I mean, I used about almost this whole thing, so I'd say about almost a gallon's about to leak out. All right, so now coming up on the driver's side, right here where your oil filter cap is, where your transmission dipstick is, you have your fuel filter. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this guy off. The reason why I started off with the bottom, because I wanted all the fuel to, all the diesel to drain back out over there. And then we are gonna be, for the green one, we can pop it out, just this where you're gonna use your pick. You might need to, let me see, it's been a while since I've done one of these. I think if there's like a little clip on the bottom. Yeah, so the clip on the bottom, and I'll show that. You should be able to pull back. So now I'm only taking off the whole piece so I can actually show you how it is. So that's how it looks like when it's installed. And then as soon as so it's gonna be installed just like that. So on the bottom, on these two little green tabs, you are gonna squeeze those. So as you squeeze, you're gonna push up. So push up just like that, and then that's how you release it. And you don't need to take out the whole thing. It's just gonna stay just like that. So I'll go ahead and put back that the way how it was. And then for this one, you have a tab right here and a tab right over here on the other side. So on the east and west side, you're gonna pinch and push towards the filter and then like wiggle it right out. You might need to pull out this yellow. No, we can just leave it like that. So this one I can't really show too much, but where this little clear plastic is, so right here, this is where we got to squeeze that piece. So you're gonna squeeze, and then same thing where my index finger and my thumb is gonna be. All right, so now this, the filter, you're gonna kind of like lefty loosey. You're not gonna force it. You're just gonna kind of wiggle it out. You don't need to loosen up that much. All right, so now we have a little notch that's right here. That needs to get inserted over here in this area. There's a little notch at the 11 o'clock. So you're gonna go ahead and just snug it down. It's kind of hard to see where the notch is at. Looks like someone, yeah, I mean, someone's broken it. It's whatever. But it's kind of hard to see. Once you get it in, it should slide. There's another little tab. So normally you're supposed to spin this and loosen it. Say the little green. God damn, this thing's on there. Let me go ahead and lift this up. Spin it a little bit. All right. All right, cool. So we got that centered. Gonna use some dielectric grease just on these nipples so we can install them. All right, we got that. And the same thing for this. You got to make sure that this clip is all the way up. And I'll show you right now on this side. So this piece for this fuel line needs to be just like that. So that's the right way of looking at it. And then this little green marker right here, normally it should be right on the arrow, but just kind of feeling the pressure of the hose. Just, I feel like this is a more comfortable area. And then there's like little slots right there in the back where this other green little tab is. There's the notch that's on there. And then that's where the other insert should be on the actual housing. All right, so once we're done with there, go ahead and clean up your area with some brake cleaner. All right, so now we're gonna go in the vehicle and we are gonna go ahead and prime up the system. So you're gonna put the key on the on position, and then from there, you're gonna hear the fuel pump. So you're gonna hear it prime. Give it a couple seconds. So I don't know if you hear it, now it's building up pressure. So you hear all that noise? So that's all that air that's getting cycled right through. So we're gonna go ahead and wait for that. All right, so now that it stopped, we're gonna go ahead and cycle it again. And then now would be a great time to inspect your whole area, make sure there's no leaks or anything like that. So right now, you can still hear the air bubbles. The flow will sound a lot more cleaner. Like right now, it kind of sounds like a little water stream with bubbles. How when you first kind of like turn in like a faucet or something. So that's what we don't want to hear. We don't want to have any air in the system when starting it. So we're almost done. So we're gonna do it a third time. So I think I want to say about 4 times in total should be good. That'll be the fourth time will be like the overkill. Yeah, right now I don't hear as much air as I do when we first started. So give it a couple more seconds. All right, so this will be the last time that we're gonna do that. And then we'll go ahead and start the truck right after. And then when you start the truck, you're just gonna let it idle for the time being. Don't accelerate, just let it sit for a little while, let the system run its fluid through and all that before driving off. And then at that time, inspect everything, make sure there are no leaks in that timely manner. If there's leaks, turn it off and then redo the procedure again. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and start it. So it is taking a while. So should have bled a little bit more. It's just probably the air in the system. But we got mostly all the air out of the system on that. So we're gonna go ahead and let it idle and then we're gonna turn it off. All right, so we have it off. And let's go ahead and start it again one more time. Should start up fast. So that took way longer, but it was faster. So we're just gonna let the car bleed out its air a little bit more longer. Again, you don't want to accelerate or anything like that. So let's go ahead and give it a couple more seconds. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and turn it off. All right, so let's go ahead and start it. All right, perfect. That's how I want to hear it start, is like right split second on that. Once it starts starting like that, then you'll be fine. If this video helped you out, give it a thumbs up, comment down below if you have any questions, and hit that subscribe button for more upcoming videos in the future. And thanks for watching.